Evil cultivation, refining zombies, pseudo system, pseudo invincibility, killing and decisive. Yuan was reborn as a disabled blind man. But fortunately, the endless path of heaven and earth allowed him to awaken an evil path of immortality. Ding! Congratulations to the host for refining 100 zombies, reward for a 10-year increase in lifespan. Ding! Congratulations to the host for achieving the achievement of dancing with ghosts. A guzheng, a zither blade. Under the sound of the cheen, 100 ghosts cry and stand stiff. This is an unusual path taken by a blind man in pursuit of longevity. Yuan, in my life, I have sought both longevity and clarity of thought. Someone said, so you dig my ancestral grave. Yuan, maybe I didn't explain it clearly. I have a clear mind, which translates to, I can do whatever I want. Key words of the novel. Changsheng. Starting from Yizhuang, refining and controlling ghosts without pop-ups, Changsheng. Starting from Yizhuang, refining and controlling ghosts. Download the complete text. Changsheng. Starting from Yizhuang, refining and controlling ghosts. Latest chapter reading. Chapter 1. Yuan. You are listening at novelfull.audio. Chapter 1. Yuan. By the way, the "daddy" on the work label is a mistake made by the author. Without this link, the label can only be changed next month. Please understand. Chigua, Puan City. The lobby of the Mu family. At this moment, a fair-skinned woman in her 30s was sitting on the upper floor of the hall, with a Chinese-faced man wearing a hunting robe standing below. The beautiful woman's eyes widened as she held a document with the official seal in her hand. Her face was frosty as she finished reading the document and immediately patted it on the wooden table next to her. I disagree. Although my Mu family is not a big and influential family, there is still no problem raising Yuan heir. He can't see things with his eyes, and he rarely has musical talent. Now that he is recruited by the UFU, he also has a promising future. Why did the government assign an official position to Yuan at this time? And there's no official position assigned to Yizhuang. Faced with complaints and accusations from beautiful women, the man with a Chinese character face standing below also had a helpless and resentful expression on his face. You keep your voice down. I can't do anything about it either. Yuan heir has obtained an official title in the Liu mansion with the title of Music Theory and Pronunciation. In the law of Chigua, it means half of the official community. If one does not follow the government's appointment, it will be a violation of orders. At a young age, it means ignoring the orders of the government. At a young age, it means ignoring the laws of Chigua. Such charges can lead to death. After listening, the beautiful woman couldn't help but blush in her eyes and whispered, "What kind of world is this?" After the woman finished speaking, the atmosphere in the hall suddenly became dull, and then the man looked around and asked again. "By the way, where is Yuan going?" At this moment, a maid outside the hall walked in and said, "Master, the young master said he wants to go out and find some playthings and come back later." Find some playthings? Nonsense, when's it all? Just play and bring him back. The middle-aged man shouted, but on second thought, he stopped the maid again. "Forget it, let me go instead. It's not peaceful outside now. I don't know when a murderer and Skinner came to the city, and they have killed many people." "Be careful and bring your knife," said the beautiful woman. Puan City. The cold wind howled, and after a day of heavy snow, I saw a vast expanse of white between heaven and earth. Snowflakes still fluttered down from the sky, and the whole town was covered in silver. The heavy snow and the cold winter of September make the streets sparsely populated, with only a few hard-working people and beggars running around for survival. In the evening, pedestrians hurriedly returned home on the road, while beggars formed groups and rushed to the temple, their footsteps varying in speed. At this moment, there happened to be a young man who was opposite to the average person. The young man was dressed in a red-edged black robe, with a cloth covering his eyes, and carried a rectangular black box that was half a person high on his back. Cough, it's really uncomfortable on such a cold day. The young man's face was a bit pale, and he occasionally coughed a few times. However, strangely enough, although he was blind, he walked steadily on this snowy ground, step by step, and quickly left the city gate. And right in front of the young man, a beggar with a drooping body was slowly walking ahead. The young man followed behind like this, but his tracking skills were not very good, and the occasional coughing completely exposed him at a glance. The beggar also noticed the boy, but didn't say anything until they walked to a small forest outside the city where the old beggar stopped. "Young man, if you don't come home so late, your family will worry." The old beggar stopped and said slowly. The young man shook his head and laughed as he untied the strip of cloth tied to his body. He took off the black box behind him and said, "I'm here to find some toys. Once I find them, I'll go home. Playthings. Hee, you have courage. What's your name?" The old beggar turned around and looked at the young man with a smile. "Li Yuan. Good name, I remember. Since that's how you look, I'll accept it with a smile." As he spoke, the old beggar with a slender body suddenly stood up, and a blade popped out from the front end of his cane in his hand. The blade bent downwards, forming a sickle-like shape. Whoosh! The old beggar's seemingly frail body suddenly erupted with a powerful force, his sickle cutting straight at Li Yuan's throat. Bomb! However, at this moment, Li Yuan moved and smashed the black box in his hand onto the ground, suddenly appearing with a brown-black zither body in 20.1 strings. The silver strings shimmered under the moonlight, with 21 strings arranged neatly from thin to thick. Li Yuan gently flicked his hand and made a sound like flowing water. Ding ding dong dong ding ding, bomb! An invisible force rapidly spread around Li Yuan, and the old beggar immediately gave up attacking and retreated at lightning speed. Even if he retreated in time, the old beggar's face couldn't help but turn red, and his body was filled with abnormal qi and blood. Why be so impatient? Ding ding! Li Yuan sat down in place, crossed his legs, straightened his waist, and placed the guzheng on his legs with 10 fingers resting on the strings. "What kind of person are you?" At this moment, the old beggar no longer dared to underestimate Li Yuan. As he held his sword in both hands, he even felt a sense of retreat. In the short battle just now, he could not see the young man's connections at all. "Isn't it obvious? I'm a blind person who can play the piano." Ding dang dang dang, the beautiful sound of the guzheng wave after wave, like a tide, surrounded the old beggar. The old beggar wanted to do something else, but suddenly he realized that he seemed I can't move anymore. Spiritual cultivation. The old beggar widened his eyes and looked at Li Yuan with a shocked expression. "The forbidden spirit of the Red Kingdom, you are a capital crime. Is that so? But who knows? And, are you skinning someone for murder? Isn't it a capital offense?" The words of the old beggar landed in Li Yuan's ear, making him somewhat amused. The old beggar gritted his teeth and stood in place, trying to break free from his constraints. However, the sound of Li Yuan's piano echoed wave after wave, with invisible ripples surrounding him. The old beggar was horrified in his heart and desperately mobilized his true qi. When Li Yuan saw that the situation was almost over, he looked up at the old beggar and said, "Remember, this song is called Zheng Feng. Ding stare. Old beggar, you pussy." With the fluctuation between Li Yuan's right hand, an invisible arc blade directly penetrated the body of the old beggar. The edge of the arc blade, even though the mouth of the separated old beggar was still trembling, didn't know what to say. After solving the old beggar, Li Yuan collected the guzheng and put it back into the black box. Then, Li Yuan came to the old beggar's body and whispered in his heart. "You are the first 8th grade warrior I came to this world to kill. Li Yuan." Its predecessor was a water polo figure from the 21st century, who traveled here a decade ago due to an accident. Let's say he's unlucky, he even became one of those countless travelers. Let's say he's lucky. When he first crossed over, it was his mother who gave birth to him, and the family was in a state of shock. The whole family was killed almost overnight. Although he survived by chance, his eyes were also damaged and he became a disabled person with white eyes. Later, Li Yuan brought Yun Shuhua to the Mu family. And even though the heavens seemed unwilling to spare him, in just over a decade, Li Yuan's body was deteriorating day by day, plagued by illness. Once there was an old Taoist who asserted that with Li Yuan's body, he might not live to be 25 years old. At first, Li Yuan did not believe it, until system activation. End of this chapter. Chapter 2. The Method of Refining Zombies. You are listening at novelfull.audio. Chapter 2. The Method of Refining Zombies, host. Li Yuan, Novice Protection Period, various increases by 5, Spiritual Cultivation. Opening Spirit Realm, Mid-Term, Spirit Type. 7 Confusion Zither Chin. Confused Joy, Confused Anger, Confused Sorrow, Confused Fear, Confused Love, Confused Evil, and Confused Desire. Under the movement of spirit, one can perceive the 7 emotions and fluctuations in thousands of sounds. Lingbao. Black Erosion Box, Spiritual Skill. Zhengfeng, Spiritual Technique LV2, 221/500. Injecting spiritual energy into the guzheng, playing this song can create moon arc sound waves and kill invisibly. Playing it with spiritual energy can enhance the host's spiritual cultivation. Yuan. 6 years. Increase life channel, refining zombies, cultivation condition open spirit realm, reached, collect 10 martial arts corpses, 9 out of 10, looking at the remaining lifespan written on the system, Li Yuan believed the person's words. He is 18 years old this year and only 20.4 years old 6 years later. Fortunately, there is no such thing as a never-ending path. A year ago, when Li Yuan first came into contact with a dead body, he suddenly awakened to this evil immortal system. Just listening to the name also knows that this system is not the one guiding Li Yuan onto the path of light. But he firmly believes that there is no innate evil, and as long as he is willing, even if he enters the evil path, he will maintain his true intention and only seek to have a clear mind. Having a clear mind, translated as, I can do whatever I want. I think it's right, I think it's not right. In fact, at the end of the day, the most important thing is I'm so meowing that I'm dying, why bother with your evil and righteous ways? Ding. Congratulations to the host for killing Sunan. Ding. Congratulations to the host for killing 10 warriors in total. All beginner welfare tasks have been completed, and the beginner protection period has disappeared. Hey, the beginner's period has passed, it's uncomfortable. Li Yuan still remembered the system's announcement. After all, the novice period of the system was really awesome. The 5 times increase in ability allowed him to easily kill 8-level martial artists by opening up his spiritual realm. After the system was turned on, Li Yuan embarked on the path of spiritual cultivation. The state of Qi valued martial arts and promoted the prohibition of spiritual cultivation. Spiritual cultivation was not commonly seen in the state of Qi. The two are not who is strong and who is weak. It can only be said that each has its own characteristics. The two are compared and each has its own strengths. Martial cultivators are invincible in their physical body, with Qi and blood reaching the sky and strong combat power. However, anyone who has an internal breathing method can cultivate it, and the threshold is very low. Spiritual cultivation requires strong innate factors, such as spiritual seeds, talents, and roots. If one of the 3 is not successful, it will eliminate the vast majority of the human race. The spiritual cultivator cultivates the spirit within the primordial spirit, which can prolong their lifespan and use spiritual techniques to fight against enemies. Even if they are thousands of miles apart, they can take the enemy's head level. There are many methods that are unpredictable. The state of qi promotes martial arts and prohibits spiritual practices. In the law of qi, except for disciples from major spiritual sects, ordinary people are prohibited from practicing spiritual practices. There is no other reason. Spiritual cultivators compare to martial artists. The martial arts path takes one step at a time, without any shortcuts. Walking is pure. Spiritual cultivation is not the case. Spiritual beings have a long lifespan and a myriad of spiritual methods, among which the forbidden technique of cultivating an evil vein is a major harm in the world. The simplest forbidden technique can lead to countless evil practices. After all, compared to the accumulation of a little hard work, the gradual ascent of forbidden techniques is too tempting. However, Li Yuan did not care about the law of Qigua. After his thoughts turned and he finally confirmed that there was no one around, a strange smile slowly appeared on Li Yuan's face. He lowered his head and faced the old beggar. However, the beginner phase has ended, and we should also enter the main storyline. The body of an 8th grade warrior, I hope it won't disappoint me. Martial cultivation level. From 9th grade to 1st grade, lowest in 9th grade, highest in 1st grade. Touch. Li Yuan slapped the black box again, and suddenly a burst of black mist burst out of it. The black mist rushed out of the box, as if there were hundreds of ghosts roaring in the mist, which was eerie and unusual. When the black mist covered the body of the old beggar, he was directly dragged into the black box, and the body disappeared, leaving only snow-stained red with blood on the ground. The whole scene can be described as eerie. Ding! Congratulations to the host for collecting the 8th rank late warrior corpse. Ding! Congratulations to the host for collecting 10 warrior corpses to meet all the conditions for opening the Refining Zombies channel. Do you want to open the Refining Zombies channel? Open it now. Ding! The official zombie refining channel has been opened, rewarding the 100 corpse 10,000 zombie manual. Host. Li Yuan, Spiritual Cultivation. Opening Spirit Realm, Mid-Term, Spirit Type. 7 Puzzle Zither Qin. Puzzled Joy, Puzzled Anger, Puzzled Sorrow, Puzzled Fear, Puzzled Love, Puzzled Evil, Puzzled Desire. Under the movement of spirit, one can perceive emotional fluctuations in thousands of sounds. P.S. One can only perceive spiritual cultivation in the same realm or below. Lingbao. Black Erosion Box, Spiritual Skill. Zhengfeng, Spiritual Technique LV2, 221/500. Injecting spiritual energy into the guzheng, playing this song can create moon arc sound waves and kill invisibly. Playing it with spiritual energy can enhance the host's spiritual cultivation. Shou Yuan. 6 years. Path to longevity. Refining corpse zombies, each refining increases lifespan by 1 month. After successful refining, there is a chance to receive additional rewards and feed back some of the body's memories before death. Channel opening first welfare task. Refining 100 corpse zombies, rewarding an additional 10 years of life Yuan. Next channel task. Lock, activate the spirit pill realm. Here it is, here it is. Listening to the system announcing the mission to enhance longevity, Li Yuan couldn't help but smile excitedly on his face. What is the purpose of cultivation? Revenge is not only for one aspect, but also for the sake of living 2 more years. Why bother pretending for 2 more years? Puan City, at the entrance of Mu's house. When Li Yuan returned to the entrance of Mu's house in Puan City, heavy snow occasionally fell in the sky. Li Yuan walked slowly on the street and snowflakes fell on him, gradually turning his shoulders white. It's really cold. Li Yuan gasped for breath and occasionally rubbed his hands. Spiritual cultivators have weak physical bodies, and even in the absence of spiritual luck, they are no different from ordinary people. They need to reach the spiritual pill realm before they can make any changes. Unlike martial artists, every time they improve their physical body, they become stronger. Suddenly, he felt as if someone was looking at him with ill intentions, but he didn't make any sound. The 7 puzzles Changsheng inside Li Yuan's body needed sound waves to sense evil thoughts. Feeling uneasy, Li Yuan was about to go over and explore when the door to Mu Mansion slowly opened, causing Li Yuan to pause in his tracks. Crunch, wearing a cotton robe and preparing to search for Li Yuan, Mu Lei pushed open the door and happened to see Li Yuan. Seeing this, Li Yuan remained silent. When Mu Lei saw that Li Yuan was fine, he laughed and scolded, "Stinky kid, where did you go so late? Don't you know it's dangerous outside? I'll go find something." Li Yuan smiled and touched his head, saying with a smile. "Find some damn thing, I've heard Xiao Zhu say. What are you looking for? What kind of plaything? Come, let me see what kind of toy you can find. Even if you're such an adult, it's not important to pursue a legitimate career." Mu Lei patted Li Yuan's head and pretended to be dignified, saying, "Cough, cough. Li Yuan was weak. Uncle, where are you going so late?" Li Yuan interrupted Mu Lei's words and opened the topic to ask. "What's going on? If you can go out, I can't go out. The yamen is busy, I'll go take a look, can't I?" When Mu Lei looked up, he didn't admit that I was going to find you. It's typical of a cold face and a hot heart. Li Yuan smiled silently and joked to Mu Lei, "Then it won't delay Uncle's official business." Li Yuan's words fell, and he felt that the person watching here had already left, so he entered the Mu mansion with peace of mind. Looking at Li Yuan's back from behind, Mu Lei couldn't help but exclaim with some confusion, "It's strange, this stinky guy seems to be a bit different." Looking at Li Yuan's back, Mu Lei wanted to say something but didn't say it. End of this chapter. Chapter 3. Yizhuang. You are listening at novelfull.audio. This translator is experiencing an error, please try another translator. Chapter 4. Ghost Curtain and 5 Senses. You are listening at novelfull.audio. Chapter 4. Ghost Curtain and 5 Senses. The next morning, Li Yuan was unaware of the concerns of Mu Lei. The next day when Li Yuan woke up, he had someone pack his bags. Here were thick clothes prepared by Yun Shuhua for him and some traditional Chinese medicine for regulating his body. In the afternoon, Li Yuan set off under the reluctant gaze of Yun Shuhua. "Your uncle is on duty today and couldn't come to see you off." With tears in his eyes, Yun Shuhua escorted Li Yuan to the door, reluctant to part with every word and action. Cough cough. "Auntie, what do you say? Yuan doesn't have to come back. The establishment of Yizhuang was funded by the government, but there is no other way. In recent years, there have been constant wars, and without the establishment of Yizhuang, the scattered corpses are likely to cause diseases and epidemics in the summer. And the establishment of the Yizhuang was destined not to be possible in densely populated areas, so the Yizhuang in Pu'an City was established in Baisher Town, 30 miles away from Pu'an City. It can be said that there is no dirtier and less promising job in the official system of guarding Yizhuang. Yuan air is weak and the journey is not close. Be careful when you travel back and forth. If you feel uncomfortable, write a letter to your family." Yun Shuhua gave many instructions in a row. Li Yuan remembered each one in his heart before following the government's guidance and leaving. Looking at Li Yuan's back, Yun Shuhua felt extremely reluctant in her heart. In Pu'an City, 2 officials led the way and he was responsible for taking Li Yuan to the local area. Both are lower-ranking guides, one surnamed Zhang and the other surnamed Wang. "Sorry, there were some things that caused a delay. I was supposed to leave early in the morning, but I was dragged until the afternoon when Li Yuan walked out of the Mu family's door." "No problem. Little brother, General Mu has already taken care of it in advance. You can tell me anything you need when you arrive at the place. If nothing unexpected happens, I will go to the Yizhuang every 2 weeks to send you some clothes and food." The inspector surnamed Wang said. "Thank you very much." Li Yuan, carrying a black box on his back, politely said a word. As he spoke, Li Yuan paused and once again noticed that someone seemed to be watching in the dark, causing him to tilt his head slightly. What's wrong? Oh, it's okay. 3 people walked out of the city gate, 2 in front and 1 behind. In the cold wind, a man wearing a fishing robe with a wide sword on his waist was standing there. Today, the cold wind was not small, and the city gate was also a windy area, making the man's clothes rustle. General Mu. 2 road guides and patrol officers saluted upon seeing the situation. It's okay, I'll have a few words with you, Honor. Mu Lei couldn't rest assured of Li Yuan after all. Uncle. Stinky kid. Why are you wearing this? Don't think too much, it was your aunt who called me over, otherwise I wouldn't have come, Mu Lei said arrogantly. Here you are. This is a good thing, I can't even drink it at home. During his speech, Mu Lei gave Li Yuan a jar of wine soaked in herbs. With the current weather and the heavy yin energy in Yizhuang, you can have a drink if you have nothing to do. How can a man leave the wine? What can I send someone to deliver the letter after going over? Li Yuan nodded, and the 2 men didn't have any annoying or polite words. After Mu Lei finished speaking, he didn't say anything more. He patted Li Yuan's shoulder and gestured for a guide to set off. Uncle, take care. The size of the Yizhuang caretaker is also an official position, and they cannot leave unless they have nothing to do. Go ahead, go ahead. Mu Lei said. When Li Yuan set off again, Mu Lei looked at Li Yuan's back and felt extremely complicated in his heart. His hand resting on the handle of the knife couldn't help but clench a little more. After all, no parent wants their raised offspring to endure hardship. After going on the road, Li Yuan and 2 road leaders walked along a small path. I said, Lao Zhang, why take the small road if you don't take the main road? Yuan, the road guide, looked at another person and asked. It would take 2 hours to talk about the 30-mile road. The day before yesterday, there was heavy snow and the road was blocked, but it hasn't been cleared yet. The road guide surnamed Zhang, upon hearing this, no longer had the initial kindness on his face. Instead, there was a hint of pity in his eyes as he looked at Li Yuan. Strange thing. Upon hearing this, Lu Yin surnamed Wang stopped talking and continued to lead the way forward. When everyone set off, the sky had gradually darkened, and half an hour later, the shadow of the Yizhuang could already be seen not far from their eyes. At this moment, the road guide surnamed Zhang stopped and even grabbed the road guide surnamed Wang. It's just over 100 meters ahead, and Lao Wang and I won't be sending it. Goodbye. Hey, we haven't arrived yet. What are you doing, Lao Zhang? The road guide surnamed Wang looked at the person with a hint of confusion on his face. Just deliver it here. It's almost dark now, and it's not easy for us to go back. Upon hearing this, the road guide surnamed Wang, although somewhat puzzled, turned his head to look at Li Yuan and said a few polite words. Little brother, not far ahead is Baisher town Yizhuang. There is a ledger in the Yizhuang, and he will receive you. After the road guide finished speaking, he was hurriedly pulled away by the road guide surnamed Zhang. Li Yuan didn't say anything and stood quietly in the same place. After the 2 road guides left completely, Li Yuan slowly spoke up. I've been following you for so long, it's all so hard. Sasha, as Li Yuan's words fell, 3 figures walked out from around. Mad, it turned out to be a blind man. I'm freezing to death, Grandpa. Alright, stop talking nonsense and interrupt his movements, so we can go back early too. There are 3 people in total, 1 holding their arms, 1 exhaling to warm their hands, and the last one walking towards Li Yuan with an iron rod. There is no reason at all. Li Yuan didn't even understand when he had offended someone. Everyone, I've been following you for so long, and I'm not in a hurry. Could you please explain the reason? If Li has offended everyone in any way, he can apologize. Those 3 people are not foolish either, and they also know the meaning behind Li Yuan's words. Alright, blind man, stop talking nonsense. We are also employed by others, as for who you offended, let's go if you want. During the conversation, the three of them approached one after another, and the person holding the iron rod swung it towards Li Yuan without saying a word. Li Yuan didn't say much and casually dodged the man's attack. Hey, I'll go, blind man. Can you see? That person thought Li Yuan was pretending to be blind when he saw how easily Li Yuan dodged. During his speech, Li Yuan swung his right hand and the black box came from behind. Li Yuan held the top of the black box with one hand and stood on the ground. Unfortunately, if you had just said that, you would have suffered less. Bomb! As Li Yuan finished speaking, the black erosion box opened with a loud snap, and a thick black mist quickly emerged from the box. The three of them had never seen this scene before, and the black mist immediately spread around. Under this black mist, a person's 5 senses will be completely blocked, and if Li Yuan uses spiritual energy to transport them, he can also reverse the path and control his 5 senses. Monster, this person is a monster. I can't see anything anymore. Boss, where are you, boss? The unknown darkness often unleashes infinite fear in adults. The three of them desperately called out, but apart from Li Yuan, no one could hear, let alone respond. The 5 senses of the ghost screen are extremely painful. Wang, ah. My bones. My bones. Ah. Don't, let me go, let me go. Under the dark curtain, Li Yuan's voice was as gentle as a ghost, unusually cold. Now, tell me what you know. After 5 breaths. The black mist was retrieved by the black erosion box, and the three of them collapsed on the snowy ground, foaming at their mouths. Their faces were grim, their eyes rolled up, and their urinary incontinence seemed like they had been subjected to some kind of torture. Li Yuan rested his hand on the black erosion box, his face expressionless, as if recalling something. Lu family. Lu family. End of this chapter. Chapter 5. First arrival in Yizhuang. You are listening at novelfull.audio. This translator is experiencing an error, please try another translator. Chapter 6. For Stiffness. You are listening at novelfull.audio. Chapter 6. For Stiffness. The first step in refining stiffness is to gather yin and condense evil energy. Gathering yin qi into a corpse using the yin spirit decision from the 100 Corpse and 10,000 Zombies manual can prevent the corpse from rotting and becoming stiff for 100 days. At the same time, this yin spirit decision is also considered a secret technique. Bomb! Li Yuan's spiritual energy scattered throughout his body, reciting the mnemonic to gather yin with his spirit. Now he is in the Yizhuang, and the gathering of yin qi can be said to be exceptionally easy. Refining the 5 steps of stiffening. Enter. Introduction. Lock. Seal. Condense. After yin qi is infused into the body in front of you, you need to extradite yin qi to the whole body. Once all yin qi is introduced, it is locked in yin, causing yin qi to gather but not disperse. Finally, it is sealed, and when yin qi reaches a certain level, it can be condensed into corpse qi. After the formation of corpse qi, the last thing is to arrange the means of controlling zombies. After everything is correct, then use the spiritual method to cooperate with the essence of the sun and the moon. Some special zombies need to keep zombies for 7 days, and finally become zombies. Lock. Pang. The blue yin qi dispersed inside the corpse in front of Li Yuan. According to the guidelines of the 100 Corpse manual, as soon as yin qi filled the body, Li Yuan had to lock and seal it. Unfortunately, at this point, Li Yuan did not control yin qi well, and in the end, yin qi exploded inside his body, completely destroying the body. Did it fail? After failing to refine the zombie, the body in front of Li Yuan quickly contracted and dried up, and within a few breaths, it turned into a dry corpse that could no longer be used. That's normal. After all, it was the first time refining, and Li Yuan didn't expect himself to be so excellent, rising to the sky step by step. Then, Li Yuan took out the second corpse and continued refining it without any accidents. It failed again, but this time Li Yuan failed in the step of sealing. After summarizing his experience, Li Yuan made another attempt. Finally, on the third attempt, with a stiff sound from Li Yuan, a body full of corpse aura, blue skin, and stiff arms finally succeeded. Jia, at the beginning of the stiffness, Li Yuan took a drop of fingertip blood and deployed control measures. There are also many ways to control zombies in the 100 Corpse Manual. Voice control, legal control, etc. The stiffness in front of Li Yuan's eyes is controlled by magic, using spiritual energy to control it. After controlling the stiffness, Li Yuan realized that he had gained some connection with this force stiffness and also gained some memories of this force stiffness. However, this stiffened figure was just a little thug during his lifetime, and the memories of nurturing him were useless to Li Yuan. Ding! Congratulations to the host for successfully refining the zombie for the first time. In the first reward increase, reward yellow level upper level, corpse coffin cultivation. Reward bat sound heart eye, spirit seal breath locking, reward, 3rd level lower level speed spirit pill *1, the system's broadcasts kept coming from Li Yuan's ear. 3 rewards. This yellow level upper level, corpse coffin, has never been seen before by bat sound heart eye, spirit seal lock breath, and the 3rd level lower level speed spirit pill Li Yuan. After the reward was issued, information about these things came to Li Yuan's mind. It is easy to understand the yellow level upper level corpse coffin. Placing refined zombies into the coffin can enhance their strength. The longer they are placed, the more they are enhanced. Moreover, if zombies are damaged in battle, they can also be placed in the coffin for repair. Then comes the bat sound, heart and eye, and the spiritual seal that locks the breath. After listening to the system's broadcast, Li Yuan couldn't help but sigh that even when he dozed off, someone came to deliver a pillow. These two skills are simply not too timely. The bat sound heart eye can allow the sound emitted by Li Yuan himself to spread around, and then the sound will be transmitted back when encountering an object. Finally, it forms a holographic image in Li Yuan's mind, as if giving him a third perspective, which is very convenient in combat. This skill is somewhat similar to the Ghost Mist reverse transmission of the Black Erosion box, but overall it is more convenient. After all, you can't just open the Black Erosion box to release Ghost Mist. And the Spirit Seal lock breath only needs to be attacked by his own spiritual energy. Li Yuan can leave a Spirit Seal on his body, and with the bat sound heart eye, he can completely lock the enemy. The final 3rd level lower grade speed spirit pill is a cultivation aid, which can accelerate the absorption of spiritual energy after taking it, allowing people to quickly improve their cultivation. On the other side, in Baisher town, after Li Yuan left, Mu Lei found a reason to invite the city guard to have a drink. Drink a lot of alcohol and drink. Mu Lei took advantage of the situation and finally confirmed from the city guard that Li Yuan was assigned to Yizhuang through the Lu family's connections. He approached the Long'an County Guard and asked the Puan City Guard to assign Li Yuan, so that when the people from the Lyle Mansion arrived, the Lu family could take over. Although the Ritual Music Palace is only a music hall played for the royal family, it is a ladder that allows one to step up to the level of the prince and princess. After learning about this, Mu Lei was furious in his heart, but he still suppressed it and planned to wait until the arrival of the people from the Liu mansion at the end of the year before Mu Lei took the opportunity to expose it. Although doing so may jeopardize his official position, the constable Mu Lei, who had worked for most of his life, was also tired of it. He couldn't help but feel ashamed to stand in front of Li Yuan if the settlement was settled like this. Waiter, check out. Mu Lei ignored the city guard who had already drunk and poured it on the table. After angrily paying for the drink, he strode away. Hey, guest, take your time. The waiter escorted Moulay to the door. What Moulay didn't notice was that the waiter kept staring at Moulay's back after he left. What he doesn't know is, 3 days ago this restaurant has become the property of the Liu family in Puan City. On Li Yuan's side, after refining the ordinary power zombie, he first placed it in a place where it could come into contact with the moonlight. The strength of a zombie depends on its strength before death, and it can be raised to a higher level by raising the zombie in the future. However, Li Yuan, the powerful zombie in front of me, was not able to practice his skills. The corpse was just an ordinary person before he died, and had no value to cultivate too much. So he put him in the moonlight to let him absorb the essence of the moon. After gaining experience, he decided to continue refining the bodies of 10 warriors in the black erosion box. A weapon that can only be made with good materials. Assuming the same level of strength stiffening, the strength stiffening produced by the corpse of a 9th grade warrior can even be comparable to that of an 8th grade warrior in terms of strength. There are 9 corpses of 9th grade warriors and 1 8th grade warrior in the Li Yuan black erosion box. Li Yuan made a simple arrangement for it. 9-level martial artists refine them into new zombies, power zombies, and 8-level martial artists refine them into other special zombies. The days that followed became dull. There will be a body almost 5 times across the mountain in Yizhuang, and Lu Zhong can handle these matters completely. 2 days ago, 2 corpse handlers were also recruited in Yizhuang. And Li Yuan continued to secretly pursue his career there. However, at the beginning, Li Yuan's career did not go smoothly. The bodies of 9 9th grade warriors allowed Li Yuan to refine and destroy 3 of them. In the end, he only developed 5 powerful zombies and 1 swift zombie. The 6 corpse zombies system rewarded Li Yuan with 6 months of longevity. After practicing the corpse zombies, Li Yuan also obtained a complete martial arts internal breathing method from the memory of one of them. However, this thing was of no use to Li Yuan, and he didn't pay much attention to it. He once wanted to make something special, to have a spiritual and martial arts double cultivation, but unfortunately, both were gathered in Dantian, so true qi and spiritual qi cannot coexist. The next day, depressed Li Yuan temporarily gave up on refining the body of the 8th grade warrior. Low-level zombies like the power corpse and news corpse had limited effects, and refining too much was just that. Li Yuan plans to refine the body of the remaining 8th grade warrior into a poisonous zombie with special attributes. Just refining the poison zombie requires some materials to assist, so Li Yuan temporarily stopped. End of this chapter. Chapter 7. 7th rank, Possessing Spirits, Corpse. You are listening at novelfull.audio. Chapter 7 7th rank, Possessing Spirits, Corpse. For half a month, Li Yuan kept walking back and forth in Baisher town, wanting to buy some materials for refining poisonous zombies. Unfortunately, there were many things that were not available in Baisher town, which made Li Yuan very frustrated. On this day, Li Yuan returned to Yizhuang from Baisher town again, and at the same time, he was carrying 2 roasted chickens in his hand. Unfortunately, I still haven't gathered all the materials to refine the poison stiff. Li Yuan was walking on the path, unable to see anything with his eyes, and he was not affected either. He was just walking when he suddenly noticed a wave of a big fight. Li Yuan turned around and faced the direction of the waves. In a faint moment, Li Yuan heard the voices of more than 10 people coming from not far away. Judging from the sound, it seemed to be 9 on 1, and there seemed to be a fluctuation of spiritual energy among them. That seems to be Panha over there. What a strong water spirit, forget it, it's better to have one less thing than one more thing. The state of qi prohibits spirits, and spiritual cultivation is extremely rare. It is still in competition with others, and recklessly getting involved will definitely cause a lot of trouble. Finally, Li Yuan quickened his pace and quickly returned to the Yizhuang. Lu Lao, I brought you 2 roasted chickens from the town. Upon seeing this, Yizhuang quickly stepped forward to take it and couldn't even close his mouth as he looked at the two burnt yellow roasted chickens. The caretaker is so polite. It's okay, I've been here these days thanks to you taking care of me, which has given me a lot of leisure. As Yuan said, if it weren't for Yizhuang and Yuan, this Yizhuang wouldn't have been so idle. If it weren't for Yizhuang and Yuan, they could still practice corpses to enhance longevity. Grandpa. At this moment, a girl with two small braids tied in her hair ran out of the room where Yizhuang was located, swaying and running. The girl is around 10 years old and has a charming appearance. With a smile on her face, there are two small dimples on her face, which is very cute. What is this? Yuan curiously asked the little girl. Guardians, this is my granddaughter Yuan, Yizhuang scratched his head and said with some embarrassment. How did you bring it to Yizhuang? Upon hearing this, Yizhuang quickly lowered his head and said, Sir, this child's parents died at the hands of bandits when they went to business in their early years. They have been with me for so many years. A few days ago, they boarded at his house, but it still doesn't work for a long time, and I want to stay. Ah. Yuan quickly waved his hand, knowing that Yizhuang had misunderstood his meaning when he heard Yizhuang's words. I don't mean anything else, it's just that Yizhuang is a place for corpses after all. Can you, granddaughter, handle it? After seeing that Yuan had no intention of blaming him, Yizhuang breathed a sigh of relief and said, Please rest assured, guardian. Arnon has been with me since childhood, and I have also worked as a bookkeeper in other charitable estates before. Arnon has been used to it since childhood, so he is not afraid. That's good. Yuan nodded and finally instructed that, except for his own location, not let Yuan go, Yizhuang could handle the rest himself. In the evening, Yizhuang reported to Yuan about the current situation in Yizhuang. At present, the state of Qigua is still relatively peaceful. Only 30 or 40 corpses have been stored in the outer hall for such a long time, and many beggars have died due to the freezing weather this year. No one pays for the deaths of these beggars, so once they have accumulated enough, they will be directly cremated in a wave. Watchman, currently we have over 3,000 yuan in our account. If we exchange it for silver, we would have around 3 taels of silver. Yizhuang's eyes lit up as he said, 3 taels of silver in a small place like Baisher town is enough for a family of 3 to eat and drink for a year. Yuan doesn't care at all about the money on the Yizhuang. His mind is now filled with those adorable zombies. Currently, Yuan lacks the main material for refining poison zombies, which makes him very uncomfortable. Yizhuang saw that Yuan's face was not very good, so he asked another question. What's on your mind, sir? Upon hearing this, Yuan briefly said that he wanted to buy some special things. Oh, if adults want to buy some special things, they can go to the ghost market. The ghost market only opens once a month, and the next one should be half a month later. After hearing this, Yuan looked up at Yizhuang and said, How could there be a ghost market in Baisher town? Adults don't see much of it. Although Baisher town is a small place, where there are people, there are benefits, and where there is light, there must be darkness. After all, Yizhuang has lived for 60 or 70 years, and he has seen many things dealing with corpses all day long. Learned. Yuan took note of this matter and asked Yizhuang about the location of the ghost market before returning to his own room. In the blink of an eye. 3 days later. Like on Peace Day, the inner world of the Yizhuang repeatedly repeats what needs to be done, with joys and sorrows, separation and reunion, and people leaving the Yizhuang gate with bitter faces. At this time, 2 fishermen outside the Yizhuang brought 2 more bodies salvaged from the river. The body was almost frozen, and its appearance was unclear, but it could be seen that it was a person. Originally, this was a very normal thing. But unfortunately, this caught Yuan's attention. Guardian, your health is not good. Just leave this small matter to me. There's no need to disturb you. Lu Zhong didn't know where to recruit 2 corpse handlers. These 2 were carrying the frozen corpse and wanted to take it to the outer hall, but they happened to bump into Li Yuan, who was about to leave. When Li Yuan passed by the icy corpse, he suddenly stopped and turned his head to face the 2 corpse bearers. Wait a minute. Where did these 2 people come from? Li Yuan asked. Guardian, this is the corpse mover I hired to guard the town. This person's name is Lu Er, and this is Lu Er's younger brother, Lu San. Both of them live in the town, they are hardworking people, and their families leave early. Lu Zhong spoke a lot in a row, completely oblivious to Li Yuan's slightly changed expression. He lowered his head and faced the 2 ice corpses. I'm not asking them, I'm asking these 2. Li Yuan pointed to these 2 ice corpses and asked. Oh, it was sent by 2 fishermen fishing this morning. Lu Zhong briefly explained the process to Li Yuan. Li Yuan stood still, constantly muttering in his heart. No mistake. There are still spiritual fluctuations on this corpse. This person. He's a spiritual cultivator, and if he can't handle it properly, it's just. After a while, Li Yuan said to Lu Er and Lu San, carry it to the inner hall. Ah. Guardian, this. Lu Zhong looked at Li Yuan with some confusion. Do as I say. There is an undeniable tone in Li Yuan's tone this time. Yes. The inner hall is specially reserved by the Yizhuang for a high-ranking person to use, where special spices are usually hung and incense with anti-corrosion ability is lit. Sir, won't you go out? I won't go. Li Yuan turned around and returned to his own room. The ice cubes on the bodies of the 2 corpses placed in the inner hall quickly melted at a special temperature, revealing their original appearance. The 2 of them were dressed in blue cloud brocade robes, with delicate faces and a fatal penetrating wound in their abdomen. The other person is different, dressed in cloth, covered in calluses on his hands, with protruding cheeks and facial bones, and a scar on his neck that is as ferocious as a centipede, not like a good person. This person has bloodshot eyes and a face like a purple eggplant. There is no external injury, but all 5 internal organs are burned, and the method of death is eerie. End of this chapter. Chapter 8. Frost. You are listening at novelfull.audio. Chapter 8 Frost at Night. A black mist quietly enveloped the entire village. Then Li Yuan appeared in the inner hall, carrying a ghostly figure with a black erosion box on his back. Peng! Li Yuan slapped the black erosion box, and ghost mist rushed out of the box, pulling all 2 corpses in front of him into the box. Ding! Congratulations to the host for collecting the 7th rank warrior corpse. Ding! Congratulations to the host for collecting the spiritual realm spiritual cultivation corpses. Because the 2 were not killed by Li Yuan, the black erosion box will only report the body's cultivation and not its name when it is placed inside. 7th grade. 7th grade martial artist. Li Yuan released 2 corpses and faced the man in cloth with a scar on his neck, feeling greatly shocked. A 7th grade martial artist can achieve true chi detachment, hence the title of martial artist. With Li Yuan's current cultivation level, if he approaches a 7th grade martial artist within 10 steps, he is almost certain to die. There is also the man wearing a blue cloud robe. Spiritual cultivation in the spiritual realm can be achieved through the use of a spiritual seed, which is already a means of mastering spiritual energy. If Li Yuan reaches this level, he can use spiritual energy tools to create the 7 puzzles Xingqin body, and his combat power will be doubled. Spiritual cultivation in the spiritual realm is already the 3rd step of spiritual cultivation, and the cultivation level is also comparable to that of a 7th grade martial arts master. Spiritual cultivation begins with the cultivation of the spiritual realm, followed by the cultivation of the spiritual realm, namely, the opening of the spiritual realm, the possession of the spiritual realm, the concealment of the spiritual realm, and the spiritual pill. Faced with these 2 corpses, Li Yuan was both excited and knew that there might be trouble, which had invisibly enveloped him. It is definitely not easy to know their identity based solely on their cultivation, which means that the matter of these two corpses cannot be concealed. What should we do? Pretend to know nothing. Li Yuan was still somewhat unwilling to accept this. The corpses of the 7th grade martial artist and the spiritual realm cultivators, once refined into zombies by Li Yuan, would definitely benefit a lot. And now that the body has reached Li Yuan's hands, Li Yuan has no reason to give up like this. Li Yuan let out a long sigh and suppressed the palpitations in his heart. In the end, he decided not to touch these two corpses for now. If it were Li Yuan himself, he would have no scruples and could only finish refining before running away. But he still has his aunt's family, so he dare not easily get into big trouble. At present, the timing is unclear, and he doesn't even know the origins of these two people. Let's stabilize our hands and see what will happen in the near future. Early morning. The gate of the Yizhuang was struck by a loud knocking. Peng peng. Where is the guard of Yizhuang? Outside the Yizhuang, a team of officers and soldiers dressed in hunting clothes arrived here. Grandpa, someone is here. At this moment, Yuan's small face under a small tree or in the mud was covered in mud spots. After hearing these words, Lu Zhong asked Yuan to return to the room and stay well. He quickly walked all the way to open the door and saw the approaching officers and soldiers. How many officials are you? I am Pu Tu from Baishe town, Jiang Fei. The guards of Yizhuang are here. Jiang Fei stepped forward and pushed Lu Zhong away, asking in a sharp voice. Mr. Li will be over soon, Lu Zhong said after standing firm. At this moment, Li Yuan, who heard the sound, slowly walked over from the inner hall of Yizhuang. What's up? Li Yuan looked at the officers and soldiers and roughly guessed in his heart, but he didn't expect them to come so quickly. It's grinding and chattering. Why are you still a sick seedling? After seeing Li Yuan's appearance, Jiang Fei, who was leading the team, expressed some dissatisfaction. I'm asking if someone has brought a corpse of a drowning person these days. The person's attire should be pretty good. Jiang Fei's words fell, and Changsheng immediately glanced at Li Yuan. After seeing Li Yuan nod, Lu Zhong spoke up. Lord Hui, 2 ice corpses have been sent. Where is it? Take me a look. Jiang Fei said. Li Yuan, inner hall. Mr. Lu, could you please lead the way and take a look? Yes, Lord Guardian. Lu Zhong turned around and reached out to lead the way. Several officials, please come with me. Quickly, Lu Zhong led a group to the inner hall. The 2 corpses are still in their original positions. Jiang Fei frowned and picked up a piece of cloth to cover his mouth, looking disgusted as he approached to check. This should be what the fairy called senior brother. Does this little white face look average? That's all for spiritual cultivation, but it looks better than the one who died 5 years ago. Doubt, there's such a big hole in the abdomen, it's making people dig it out. Stains, Jiang Fei kept muttering incessantly, and finally his gaze shifted to the man's robe. This should be what the fairy said about the cloud blue robe, it shouldn't be wrong. After speaking, Jiang Fei turned to look at Li Yuan. I don't care what method you use, find a way to keep this corpse in its original state and use the best anti-corrosion. There will be a funeral tomorrow to inspect the corpse. This corpse is not allowed to have any abnormalities now. If it is lost or damaged, it will be beautiful to you. Upon hearing this, Li Yuan's mind immediately moved. He stopped Jiang Fei and pointed to the one next to him. This official. What about this corpse? This corpse. This corpse is none of my business, just handle it as you did before. After looking at it for a while, Jiang Fei didn't see anything unusual and said somewhat irritably. When he arrived, his task was to determine one thing, except for the one wearing a blue cloud robe, the rest of the body had nothing to do with him. Without any accidents. When Li Yuan heard these words, a faint smile appeared on his face. The officers and soldiers came fiercely and left hastily. Guardian, Lu Zhong looked at the scene in front of him and was also confused. He didn't understand why there were officers and soldiers who came to take special care of this corpse. Lu Lao, thank you for your hard work. After speaking, Li Yuan didn't say much and turned around to leave. After Jiang Fei left, he quickly returned to the government. In the government office, the garrison general Changsheng sat in the second position. Shen was about 40 or 50 years old and covered in fat. The main seat is occupied by a woman wearing a cloud blue dress with a relatively good appearance. The woman closed her eyes slightly, her breath as cold as ice, and she remained silent, as if waiting for something. The guard below was in a hurry at this moment, with sweat emerging, causing him to prick his obese body and occasionally make a creaking sound from the stool. Father! Father! We found it! We found it! With the appearance of Jiang Fei's voice, the General Shen in the back hall of the government turned his head to look, and the woman slowly opened her eyes. Jiang Fei ran back panting heavily, and as soon as he entered the back hall, his gaze fell directly on the woman. Speak quickly, are there any results? Jiang Fei's voice appeared before interrupting his gaze. Fairy, we have found him. The person you mentioned is now in the Yizhuang. However, he has already died and is not in good shape. He is old and miserable. Sure enough. A hint of desolation appeared in the woman's eyes, indicating that she already knew the outcome. Have you found out who killed my senior brother? The woman slowly stood up, her voice light and agile, and Jiang Fei was mesmerized by it. Fairy, your senior brother's body is now in the Yizhuang in Baishe town. I have instructed the tomb to go over. If we can find out the cause of your senior brother's death, we should be able to find the culprit by following the clues. Jiang Fei's words fell, and the woman had to get up and go to explore. Hey, Fairy, that place is dirty and smelly. Please rest for now. I'll take full responsibility for this matter. Don't worry. Fairy, my son is right. Don't be fooled by him, but he is the top detective in Baishe town. He handles cases like a god and will definitely help you find the culprit. Jiang Shen also followed suit. After hearing this, the woman nodded lightly and her expression softened, saying, You don't need to call me a fairy. Although I come from the Blue Cloud sect, just call me Ningxuang. Since that's the case, I'll rely on you for my senior brother's affairs. Oh yes, I don't know. Did you see any other corpses worth paying attention to when young Master Jiang Fei passed away in that village? Ningxuang looked at Jiang Fei and said meaningfully. No, Jiang Fei shook his head. Oh, it seems there is still a body with your senior brother, but I don't think that's useful. Let the people of Yizhuang handle it casually. Oh. Ningxuang narrowed her eyes and didn't say anything more, then I'll leave my senior brother's matter to you. Please rest assured, Fairy. Jiang Fei quickly turned around and left, as if it were his brother who had died. After Jiang Fei left, Ningxuang regained her seat and looked at General Shen with a friendly expression, asking, How is Jiang Jinsho's sister doing? Hey, don't mention it, it's still the same since a serious illness 5 years ago. Sorry to bother the fairy. Show a bitter expression on Shen's face. After hearing this, Ningxuang said again, Many years ago, my senior brother had an intersection with the younger sister who will be guarding, but now things have changed. End of this chapter. Chapter 9. Corpse Thieves. You are listening at novelfull.audio. Chapter 9 Corpse Thieves on the Yizhuang side. Li Yuan briefly thought about today's events in his mind, which involved spiritual realm cultivators and 7th grade martial artists. It should not have been so simple, but only a brainless fool came along. It seems that we should start with you first. After successfully refining the corpse, Li Yuan can obtain some of the opponent's memory, but this memory is random, and Li Yuan is not sure if he can know what exactly happened. Anyway, I'm not at a loss either. Li Yuan retreated and sought second place. With that brainless constable, no one would notice the body of a 7th-grade warrior Li Yuan coveted. Once refined into a zombie, Li Yuan's self-protection ability would be greatly enhanced. At night, a faint layer of black mist once again enveloped the Yizhuang. Just as Li Yuan was preparing to refine his corpse, a ghostly mist shrouded him, and suddenly images of others came to Li Yuan's mind. Li Yuan immediately stood on guard, then picked up the black erosion box and jumped onto the roof. Pop! Li Yuan casually snapped his fingers, and Bat Yin's heart and eyes activated. The sound of the snap quickly spread and touched an object, and immediately returned. Soon, a half-image of the Yizhuang appeared in Li Yuan's mind. Within the image, there are plants, trees, rocks that are not at all bad, and sometimes even clearer than what the eyes can see. In the image in Li Yuan's mind, 2 figures were constantly rushing towards the Yizhuang. Sure enough, it won't stop like this. Li Yuan didn't take action immediately, he wanted to see what the other party was going to do first. Quickly, the 2 of them infiltrated the village. Quickly, find the body of the 3rd brother, we can't let the people of the Blue Cloud sect get hold of it. A man with a pointed face and a mustache looked around and said. 4th brother doesn't need to be like this. Beside this person, there is also a muscular man with a shiny bald head. This small charity village, there are still people who can be detrimental to us, the 9 ghosts of Erzhan. If someone sees it, just kill it. No way. We need to clean up our tails. Just bring back the body of our 3rd brother. We must not kill anyone, even those from the Yizhuang, unless absolutely necessary. Although this kind of small person may not be eye-catching, in the eyes of some sharp-eyed people, they will still become our tail. Once they are discovered by the people of the Blue Cloud sect, we will follow the clues and the 9 ghosts of the Erzhan mountains will be finished. As they walked, the 2 of them said that their speed was not slow. Surprisingly, they were all 8th-grade martial artists in the floating true chi. Upon hearing their intentions, Li Yuan suddenly gave up his intention to take action. Li Yuan's thoughts flew and he suddenly had a bold idea. The idea of devouring both corpses. Or, it's good to have them take the body away. Li Yuan had an idea in his heart. Under the dark night, Li Yuan's spiritual energy was stimulated, increasing the concentration of black mist enveloping the village. Damn it, why is it so dark all at once? The black mist covered the area, and the 2 of them instantly felt their vision blurred. Maybe there's no moon on a cloudy day. Hey, isn't that right? I can't see clearly. The 2 quickly stepped forward. It's 3rd brother's clothes, hurry up, take the body away. The 2 of them quickly left the cemetery with their bodies, but their vision and other senses were affected by the black mist, so they didn't look too carefully at the bodies. After the 2 of them left the Yizhuang, Li Yuan quickly followed up. He can't take action in Yizhuang, otherwise this group of people will still think of Yizhuang. Under the moon. As Li Yuan moved, the black mist continued to accompany the 2 of them. The 2 of them felt more and more wrong as they walked. After leaving the charity village, they quickly entered a jungle. During their actions, they almost ran into a tree because they didn't see the road. Lao Wu, why doesn't something seem to be wrong? 4th brother, I also feel it. The 2 of them looked up into the distance and suddenly realized that they could only see things within 5 meters. No matter how far away, you can't see it at all. Under the black mist, Li Yuan was actually standing 100 meters behind them. Exactly, I'll use you guys first and try my masterpiece. The black erosion box appeared in Li Yuan's hand, accompanied by a ghostly mist as corpses stiffened and appeared rapidly. This is the 5 powerful zombies and 1 swift zombie that Li Yuan had previously refined by a 9th-grade warrior. Go ahead. Jia. After gaining control from Li Yuan, the 6 corpses slowly lifted their heads and swallowed a cold and gloomy aura. Fourth brother, how do I feel? Jie. Damn it. What kind of ghost is attacking me? Old Wu, who was speaking, suddenly felt a strong wind coming from behind, and the warrior's alertness made Old Wu react quickly. But due to the influence of the fog, Lao Wu's perception ability was greatly suppressed. Just as he dodged the first wave of attack and had not yet stabilized his body, a sharp pain suddenly came from behind. Then Lao Wu flew out directly, hitting 2 big trees with heavy obstacles before stopping. Under normal circumstances, an 8th grade warrior would not be so powerless in the face of a stiff force, but under the ghostly mist of Li Yuan, their perception was partially blocked, which is why they are so powerless. Although Li Yuan's ghostly mist is powerful, it also requires Li Yuan's spiritual energy support. Under the ghostly mist, Li Yuan's spiritual energy is constantly being consumed. Old 5. Damn it. What kind of person, come out. Old C didn't know when he took out 2 broken blades with a cold glow and held them in his hand. Lao C looked around, but his gaze couldn't see 5 meters away. This feeling of being shrouded in the unknown made Lao C, a fierce bandit who had been walking on the blade for years, feel a chill in his heart. Pretend to be mischievous. If you're a hero, come out with real swords and real guns. Lao C looked around, constantly wary of the darkness. Boom. In the black mist, 2 huge figures rushed towards Lao C, one on the left and the other on the right. Old 4 only saw what it was up close. Black and blue skin all over, sharp teeth bulging in the mouth, and muscles in both arms exploding, boom. Ghost hand throw. Old 4 waved his arm at a strange angle, and his 2 broken blades sliced through the air and flew out. Puff. Pushi. 2 broken blades were shot into 2 stiff throats, and if it were a normal person, it would be difficult to resist under the flying blade of Lao Ci's hand, but unfortunately when a warrior encounters a zombie, there's just no reason to say it. Jie jie jie. What? Before Lao Ci could react, 2 strong winds suddenly struck. Touch. Pushi, blood splattered, and Lao Ci's chest and abdomen were simultaneously attacked by 2 powerful zombies and flattened by Changsheng. Then, the new zombie took action, and the terrifying impact knocked Lao Ci out again, and Fei Slippery appeared at Li Yuan's feet. How did you know I was here? Under the black mist, Lao Ci coincidentally flew to the feet of Li Yuan. You Old 4 kept spitting blood out of his mouth, trembling as he pointed at Li Yuan, his eyes filled with fear and unwillingness towards death. End of this chapter. Chapter 10. Jiang Fei. You are listening at novelfull.audio. This translator is experiencing an error, please try another translator.